Hello YouTube, Camodo Gaming here, bringing you guys another episode of Scrap Mechanic. Today we've got a brand new vehicle build, and this is a vehicle build that is near and dear to my heart. It is Sweet Tooth from the Twisted Metal series. So we're going to go over this build here today, and if you would like to download this build, it will be in my workshop. Links are in the description. And remember folks, if you're enjoying Scrap Mechanic, hit that thumbs up button, it helps out my channel, and let's go check out this build. Alright, so it is nice and dark out here, and it's actually, this looks really good. This is the Apocalypse mod by Durf. If you don't know who Durf is, of course he's the one that provides most of the block mods, but he's also done some of these environment mods, and it looks really good. It fits the vehicle out here. Now if you're not familiar with Twisted Metal is a vehicular combat game. I think the last one came out right around 2012, but this was a game that I used to play a lot when I was a kid. When I had my PlayStation 1, Twisted Metal 2 was probably one of the first games that I got, and I fell in love with it. I would play it for hours. So my favorite character was Sweet Tooth. He's kind of the icon of the game. Whenever somebody says Twisted Metal, they always think Sweet Tooth. So that's why I picked to do him. He's actually got a really cool vehicle. It's a big killer ice cream van. It's got a big head on it. Now, this particular one isn't solely based on one model. This one, body style, is probably more close to the 2012 one, but its little special feature that it has is more close to the Twisted Metal Black version of it, right around 2001. So, before anybody starts pointing anything out, like, well, the head should be here, or that's not right, that color's wrong, this is just kind of a hybrid of all the Sweet Tooths. So anyways, let's go ahead, we're going to check it out. We're going to go over all the little fine details, tell you guys what mods we are using here. That way when you download it off the workshop, you should be able to get right into it and get it in your world. Alright, let's do a breakdown of this vehicle. It's actually not too complicated. You're going to see a lot of bearings here in the back. Now this one has, and when I say special, that was every vehicle had its own special move. Well, this one's special is almost to transform into a mech and to have some extra guns on top. It's morally similar to the one, I think, from Twisted Metal Black. Now, the 2012 version of this game, the Twisted Metal, the Sweet Tooth would actually transform into a running mech. But that is a little much for me. Honestly, with Scrap Mechanic, all the bearings, I think that would probably kill the game before I'd actually make it work, or I'd probably go insane, one or the other. So what you're seeing in there, you're seeing the robot on the inside. You're seeing 4 engines. 2 are for wheels, 1 is actually for the top. The head actually turns. Now his head didn't always turn in every game, but it did in a couple of them, and I kind of like that little feature. So his head turns there, and the other engines for the miniguns that are on the front. So let's go ahead, we're going to take this off the lift. Now, if you're going to notice here, check this out. Scaling wise, this thing is much bigger than the Scrap Mechanic character. Probably from afar, you probably thought, oh, this is perfect scaling wise, but no, I figured this is going to be kind of a complex visually vehicle, or I should say that right. It's a complex vehicle visually because of all the little shapes that I needed to use, so I knew I had to up the scale to be able to get it correct. So, as far as the visuals on the outside, of course, I pointed out the miniguns. You got the big Sweet Tooth head at the top. We'll get a closer look at that here in a second. That's the only thing that was an absolute pain to do. But I think we did a pretty good job there. The 2012 version has these kind of rusted out bumpers all over it, so I made this brown plating all over the front, so that's what you're seeing there. You've got a grill kind of tucked up under it. It kind of surrounds the whole vehicle, and it's got a little bit here on the back. So as far as the interior, let's go ahead and pop open the door here. Not much, since the character's kind of out of scale. I figured, you know what, we don't need to do a whole bunch of fancy stuff with the interior because it looks odd in the first place. Because, yeah, he's a little boy. It looks like a kid driving it. Sweet Tooth was much bigger than this. So, we're going to walk out of here. You can see where the motors are. There is some logic in here that's morely for the miniguns and the gun on the actual turret in the back. I want to thank Con for that because he just kind of actually drew me a little diagram to show me how I needed to hook this up in order to get it to repeat. So I've got that. Let me go ahead and show you the back side of this vehicle. The doors do open here in the back, so we're going to click these. There we go. Now if you're wondering why the door looks like that, it's because the vehicle is an odd width, and that's because of the spinning head needed to be centered on the top. So let's go ahead and check out back here. Not much back here. It's really the big robot that's housed back here, so I couldn't really do anything else with it. You do have your controllers back here, a little bit more logic for the robot, and that's about it. So I think we're ready to go ahead and drive this thing around and show you what this thing's got. Alright, as far as your buttons, the 1 key is your side door here, the 2 key is the miniguns here in the front, and you can hear the Totebot head going off. That's the logic I talked about that Con helped me set up. He says it's a very basic logic, but it was still over my head, so you can see it going there, the timer's flashing. I think it's set to 1 tick, and it's letting those guns go off. I probably could have added more of these to try to get each individual gun to go off at a different time to give it more of a realistic sound, but that would have been a bit of a pain, so that's that. The 3 keys actually the transformation mode, so we're going to skip that for a second, and the 4 keys the guns that are on the turret inside. So you've got that. Your 5 key is your back thrusters, give this thing a little bit more speed. A lot of times in Twisted Metal there was these little turbo pickups that you can hit. I think it was that way pretty much even in the newest one. I don't recall. I could have swore maybe in one of them they added like a turbo button, and oh, we weren't even going to come close there. By the way, this isn't the fastest vehicle. Let's hop out here. That's why we have the turbo. I don't even know why I thought that was a good idea to try to hit that jump. By the way, on the bottom of this thing, it is completely metal, and that's actually for good reason, because this thing's so top heavy. I decided to make the bottom as heavy as possible. It actually works really well because, surprisingly, for how bulky this thing is, it handles pretty good. So let's go ahead and turn the thrusters on, show you guys how this thing drives, how it kind of swings around. So you've got that. You can go ahead and fire your front miniguns. This would actually somewhat fit in the apocalypse world that I was doing, and I thought about that earlier. I was like, man, this vehicle would just blend right in, even though it's based on something completely different. Well, I guess you can say some of the Twisted Metals were based in a apocalypse style world. But yeah, you've got that. The 6 key is the horn. It's actually kind of, it sounds kind of low to me. There we go. A little louder down here. Let's see. I don't know, I'm unfamiliar with this terrain. It's kind of changed up a little bit. There's all these little pebbles and rocks down here with the Apocalypse mod. Alright, so we're going to do the big reveal of the special here for Sweet Tooth. Now, in Twisted Metal, pretty much every vehicle has some sort of special attack, whether it be a big rocket, or sometimes the vehicles themselves would be used as weapons. There was like a monster truck that would just run over and it'd kind of grind its tires on top of the competition. Well, Sweet Tooth pretty much did one of 2 things. Either he used the top of his head, the spinning part, it would either like shoot off or it would do something. I think I've seen actual missiles come out the mouth, or he would transform. Now, in 2012, he would transform into like a mech that could fly and walk around, which would have been extremely cool in Scrap Mechanic, but pretty well impossible with the limitations of the game right now. So I went ahead and made him do what he does in Twisted Metal Black, and that's for the back end to kind of open up, and a mech-like, I would say it's a mech-like character would pop out. It doesn't actually walk around, it still runs around on the 4 wheels, but it would pop out the top and you'd have an extra set of guns, or I believe it actually shot missiles. So we're going to demonstrate that here. Now there's one of 2 ways to do this. You can do it from the cockpit by hitting the 3 key, or I've got one that you can do it from here in the back. That way you can kind of get a different view of it transforming if you wanted to see on the inside. Alright, it's time to fire this thing up. We're going to hit the key here. There we go. And here comes Sweet Tooth. Now it's actually going to close the lid there, and it's actually almost completely sealed that up. So yeah, you've got like, I don't know if he's called something else when he's in the mech mode, but let me go ahead and show you this in here. This whole system's based on the top controller. It's basically just the body here cracking open. You've got a piston that raises him up, and these are his arms here. He's got actually, I think, 6 bearings on his arms, just to kind of angle him out. Now his arms aren't extremely huge because of the limited space in the back, but I think he came out pretty good. Let's go ahead and hop into the front here, drive around in this mode. Now sometimes it does get stuck because of scrap mechanic reasons, whatever you want to call it. It's like kind of how doors get stuck. Sometimes the body will get stuck here. Actually, I left the back doors open. So yeah, you've got the front firing guns, but he also fires up at the top too. So you've got another little logic system. You can see it in the doorway there. So yeah, it just gives you a little bit of extra manpower. Now it would be kind of cool to put some missiles on this thing. That would be something that I think would be possible. It might be a bit laggy having loose rockets. I've seen people do it before with missiles and kind of either missile vehicles or even just like little launchers. Say it doesn't have to actually move around. So I think that would be a bit laggy for this creation. So that's why I kind of went with just the same guns that are on the bottom. I guess maybe I could have put some miniguns on there, but I decided to go ahead and go with the standard guns there. Oh man, this Apocalypse mod looks so awesome. It almost looks like a different game. Like it even gives a little bit different vibe to the vehicles, which by the way, I think came out really nice. It's not perfect, I would say. The vehicle itself's pretty close. I would have liked to have done a couple different things with the head, but with the limited parts that we have, even with the mod parts, it is what it is. It is a bit creepy. I would picture being maybe with the night mod that this thing, how its eyes light up, which by the way, those beams are set to max. With the way they light up, they actually illuminate stuff as it passes over. So that could be very creepy at night. So let's go ahead and we're gonna hit the transform button and show you guys from the outside what this looks like, kind of here from the front. So I'm gonna hit the 3 key. Oh, the side door's stuck. That happens sometimes. It's like normal doors. I think I've already said this in Scrap Mechanic. Sometimes stuff gets stuck. I don't really know why. Let's go and hit it again, see if it does it. Yep, comes out fine this time. A little strange, but oh well, it is what it is. So yeah, if it ever gets stuck, say if you can't unwedge it, or a lot of times you can just place a block down or paint something and it'll open right up. But if for whatever reason it doesn't do it, just set it on a lift and it will reset itself. But yeah, overall, really happy with this build. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you'd like to check this out, like I said, gonna be in my workshop. I want to thank you guys for the past couple days. It has been amazing. I actually pushed to get this vehicle build out to you guys because you guys have been enjoying Scrap Mechanic so much recently, and there's been a lot of love and support on the channel. We're gaining a lot of subs, we're getting a lot of views, so figure we go ahead and do this for you guys here. Now, if you have any suggestions for other vehicle builds, comment below. We will be returning with several things soon. Some more Hot Wheels. I've been hearing a lot of noise about the Monster Jam Arena, and I do hear you guys, so we will probably be coming to that, hopefully within the next week. Get into some of that. But anyways, folks, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Scrap Mechanic. If you like to like and subscribe, everything helps my channel. And don't forget to go check out all the creators, mod creators. It's going to be Durf, Lord Payne, with some of his interior mods. And then I need to check, I didn't mention them last time, I need to see who this is. There is an exhaust mod pack 2 on the workshop, and that's what I'm using for the exhaust pipes out the back. So I'm going to try to link all of their workshops in the description. But anyways, folks, hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you guys next time on Scrap Mechanic. Thank you.